Hello from ABA Annual Meeting 2018 in Chicago, Illinois. I'm Lawrence Coletti.
And I'm Dana Hrelic.
And we're on the road with Legal Talk Network. And we're back. Thank you so much for joining us on the road.
My pleasure.
It's a pleasure to be here with you. And today I'm talking with Dana Hrelic. She is the chair of the ABA Young Lawyers Division. Welcome to the show.
Thanks.
Before we get into the questions, and I have a list of them for you, I wanted to learn just a little bit more about you. Where do you work? What do you do?
I work in Hartford, Connecticut. I am a partner at a small boutique appellate firm named Horton, Dowd, Bartschi, and Levesque. We do state and federal appeals in Connecticut and around the country.
Excellent, excellent. So, Young Lawyers Division, and you and I were doing a little bit of a pregame before I learned just how large it was. So that's where I want to start first. How many members do you have within your ranks?
Sure, we have just about 200,000 members.
That's a big number. That is the biggest number for any group, division, committee, the ABA. Is that correct?
That's correct. It's about 50% of the ABA membership as a whole.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Okay. And so who are the members? So I know not all of them are considered, and I'm putting this in quotes, young lawyers. So let's go into that.
Young lawyer members take up about, 93,000 of our membership. The remaining members are law student members. So all law students, if they are ABA members, are by virtue of the fact that they are a law student, automatically members. So all you have to do to qualify to be in the YLD, if you're a law student, is be a law student.
That's easy?
Yeah, easy peasy. After you graduate, to be in the Young Lawyers Division, there are 2 qualifications, and you can use whichever one keeps you in longer. So it's either 5 years or less in practice, or less than 36 years of age.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, that's still impressive numbers there. So I would imagine that you have programs all over the country.
All over the country.
And that's across all 50 states you have members.
All 50 states plus the territories. My husband works in the U.S. Virgin Islands, so I would be remiss if I didn't mention the territories. So.
Okay. Do you work there as well?
I do not, no.
Wait, so he does work there. He doesn't live there.
He doesn't live there. No,
okay.
He works remotely, but he works at the Supreme Court there. So.
Okay, I was going to ask you a series of personal questions. I will now refrain. So anyway, let's talk about the member benefits. So obviously with this kind of membership, you've got to have something for the members. And so Let's talk about some of the member benefits of being part of ABA YLD.
Sure. Some of the big member benefits is we have great professional development programs. So if you have young associates, or you are a young associate, or you're a new lawyer looking to get on your feet, so many new attorneys are hanging their own shingles these days. One of the biggest things we can offer is professional development training, and I call it the Black Book of Business Building. So
nice.
We will help you make money, and we will help you build a business and become a successful attorney. So that's a big member benefit for us.
So, and I want to make sure our listeners heard this. You will help them make more money.
We will help you make money. We will help you build your Black Book of Business. We will help you build a network across the country. And sometimes you think, well, I live in Connecticut. What do I need to know people in California for? Well, when that person in California gets a referral and says, hey, I need an attorney out in Connecticut. Do you know anybody? If you're the only person they know, guess who they're sending an email to? Guess who they're going to call and send that business to? So the amount of business that I get, even, I work in an appellate boutique firm. I don't handle a lot of trial work, but I get tons of referrals for trial work, which helps me farm it out to the attorneys I know in Connecticut, and they return the favor in turn. So it's really helpful, I would say.
So I'm hearing a little network. I'm hearing a little bit of, not necessarily referral, but sort of.
Yeah.
But what are some of the other programs that you offer?
Sure. So another big membership program we have is called #Fit2Practice. We work with young attorneys and really all attorneys on improving their physical health, their mental health, their emotional health. These days, it is so common for substance abuse problems, for depression, for attorneys that are just struggling to deal with everyday challenges when it comes to building business, dealing with clients, managing a family. And you see that especially with young lawyers who are putting out shingles at the same time they're paying back loads and loads of law school debt, trying to pay the mortgage and raise a family at the same time. So it can be challenging, and we help with the struggle. And so our Fit to Practice initiative really tries to touch on all those bases. We do that at our conferences and in between our conferences using technology. So,
well, tell me a little bit about your conferences. I did go to your website. I saw that you offer several events across the country, but I think the two are, you kind of have a mid-year and an annual event. Is that correct?
We have a mid-year and an annual event. We also actually have we have quarterly conferences. So we have a fall and a spring conference as well. And the fall and the spring conference are not in conjunction with the greater ABA. They're YLD only events. So it's a little bit of a different tenor, a little bit of a different attitude amongst the attendees, which is fun. I think it's great for young attorneys to come and meet with just other young attorneys and network and build friendships and maintain relationships. It's great.
And talk about those young attorney issues.
Talk about those young attorney issues. Wherever you come from, we're all paying back student loans. So
That is true. And that must be a topic that comes up quite a bit, is student loan debt amongst
student
the young
loan
attorneys.
debt, finding a job, raising a family, balancing, work-life balance is a big thing a lot of attorneys struggle with. We're all going through the same thing. So
Great. So in terms of upcoming next year programs, and I know that you're the outgoing chair. We discussed that. So within the ABA, you have presidents, you have chairs,
it's okay. We're all
committees,
the
divisions. But you're the outgoing chair. Who's the person that's going to replace you?
I'm being replaced by Tommy Preston. He is a young lawyer from Columbia, South Carolina.
And you can tell me and the rest of the listeners, is he a nice guy?
Actually, he's a great friend, and I'd be straight with you, but
I'm just giving you a hard time.
He's a great friend. He's going to do a phenomenal job with our division.
Excellent. So what kind of programmings can next year the members expect for next year?
So I think Tommy is continuing the Fit to Practice initiative. Another initiative that I started this year that Tommy will be continuing is our public service initiative called Home Safe Home. It focuses on awareness of education about and outreach concerning 4 different types of home violence: intimate partner violence, animal abuse, child abuse, and elder abuse. So Home Safe Home had its initial year this year. It was a raging success. In fact, we're doing an outreach at this conference, and we are moving a resolution before the House of Delegates on Monday, which is really exciting. And we are continuing that effort next year. Tommy is also working on an initiative that we started this year too. We didn't start it, but we really built it up this year. Our disaster legal services project with FEMA. Whenever a natural disaster strikes, and unfortunately that happened way too often this year, the Young Lawyers Division partners with FEMA, and we help deliver disaster legal services to storm survivors all around the country. And so we were everywhere that there was a disaster this year: Hawaii, California, Texas, Florida, the U.S. Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, Alaska. I mean, you name it, we were there. And we were there on the ground in the trenches, helping people figure out what to do when their basement flooded and they lost their birth certificate, for example, all those types of things. So Tommy's going to be continuing our disaster legal services program as well. And I know another issue that Tommy's working on that is near and dear to his heart involves diversity and inclusion in the profession. And so he has a Men of Color initiative, which works on, and you have to talk to him for greater details, but works on building the numbers and the strength of men of color in our profession and in Bar Association leadership.
All right. Well, that sounds fantastic. So I have a second to last question. I'm going to put you on the spot here. So for our listeners out there who might want to join the Young Lawyers Division here with the ABA, what are your 3 favorite reasons to do so?
I think my first favorite reason would have to be the fact that it's given me some credibility and legitimacy within my firm. I bring in business, I get referrals, and I'm valuable to the firm. The second favorite thing about being part of the ABA is the travel and getting to meet and know young lawyers all around the country and really help understand and relate to all the young lawyers that are going through the same issues that my husband and I are going through. And then my third favorite thing would have to be the relationships that I build. Some of my greatest friendships come from the ABA, and I met my husband at an ABA conference.
Get out of here.
You know what? It was the February conference here in Chicago in 2012.
Did you guys save your name tags?
We did not. You know what? Actually, he's kind of a hoarder. He might have saved his. Don't tell him. He'll probably hear this. But so I would say definitely our relationships. The relationships you build they last for life.
I think it's a great place to close it out. But before we do that, let's get some contact information.
Great.
If our listeners want to reach out, learn a little bit more, how can they find you?
Sure. They can find the Young Lawyers Division at www.americanbar.org/YLD.
Well, we've reached the end of the road for today's episode, but I want to thank our guests for joining us today.
My pleasure.
And also our listeners for tuning in. And if you like what you heard today, please rate us an Apple Podcast. We'll see you next time for another episode of On the Road with Legal Talk Network.
If you'd like more information about what you've heard today, please visit LegalTalkNetwork.com. Subscribe via iTunes and RSS. Find us on Twitter and Facebook, or download our free Legal Talk Network app in Google Play and iTunes. The views expressed by the participants of this program are their own and do not represent the views of, nor are they endorsed by, Legal Talk Network, its officers, directors, employees, agents, representatives, shareholders, and subsidiaries. None of the content should be considered legal advice. As always, consult a lawyer.